Hey Bookworms of Concord, so this video is for beginning readers, whether you're someone who really wants to start reading or you just started reading as a new hobby and you're intimidated by really long books. First of all, let me just say, you can do it. You can do it. If you're anything like me, I used to be very intimidated by these, the really thick and really long books. So just to give an example, back in high school, I had gotten this book, Mr. Murder by Dean Koontz, and you can see it's decently thick. It's only 481 pages. Yeah, I say only now, but back then I used to be very intimidated by the thickness of this book. I didn't think I was capable of reading something so long. So this sat on my TBR shelf for over 10 years. Because again, that was high school, and I read this last year. So if there is anything I can say, is that a lot of creators will give you like these tips and tricks on how to read a really long book. But I don't have any of those. All I have is just one simple piece of advice of practical wisdom, and that is think of reading a long book, reading in general, but especially a long book, as a marathon, not a sprint. Okay? Don't rush your way through it, because when you do that, you'll find yourself not remembering the things you've read, and eventually not even enjoying the book. Even once you finish the book, you'll find that you won't remember what the book was about. That's happened to me on numerous occasions, and because of that, I reread some books much later. So this is the only reason why I'm able to read really long books now, is because of that mindset that I've had of thinking of reading as a marathon, not a sprint. Just to give an example, some background history. As an autistic person, reading was one of the first special interests I can remember, and I fell out of it. I read a lot of books when I was a kid, but I fell out of it because of the complex issues with masking when trying to fit into society and my peers, and I didn't pick it back up again until 2021, so four years ago. And so, as an example, back in high school, I was reading the Harry Potter series. I read the first two books, I believe, in 5th grade when I was about 10 or 11. And then in high school, I stopped halfway through the 5th book, The Order of the Phoenix. Because, one, I wasn't really enjoying it. And it's just too long. I was like halfway through, and it's like, man, I still got so much left. I can't finish this. And I don't think the 7th book was out yet. I think the 6th book was out, and that's even longer. And so I was intimidated by that. So I put down the series again back in high school, and it wasn't until over a decade later, in 2021, when I was 31 years old, that I picked up the series again and read the whole thing in a year, and same thing with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And then I picked up this thick boy, It by Stephen King. This is over 1,100 pages, all right? And this was my first Stephen King novel I ever read, so I went pretty nuts with it. I don't think I would recommend this as your first Stephen King novel, but this was, I really wanted to read it. But again, when I started this, I was very intimidated. I didn't really believe that I could finish it. but I did. I actually finished this in 9 days. Like 1,100 pages I read in 9 days. That's incredible, especially for me at the time. And now I've read other really long books like that since then. And currently I'm reading this chonker, Oathbringer, the third book of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. And still, I am keeping the marathon mindset, not a sprint. Because, just think of a marathon, right? You don't sprint through it, right? You don't run the marathon as fast as you can. You pace yourself, and you go at your own pace. Don't worry about the pace of others, right? Don't worry about the pace of those who are ahead of you. Worry about your own pace, right? Because that's how your body works. Your body doesn't work like everybody else's, especially those who are ahead of you. And who knows, you might get ahead of them in time. But again, that takes time, patience, and discipline and practice. So again, marathon. Don't sprint through a book for the reasons I said earlier. You won't remember or enjoy it. And especially not to get to the next book, whether it's part of a series or a completely different book, because your other books will still be on your bookshelf. I promise you. Okay. And the other thing I'll say is, don't be disappointed or discouraged if you only read like 20 to 30 pages of something that's this long. All right, that's still progress. It might not seem like much, and it might not be as much as you would want, but it's still progress. You still read something. I mean, even 5 pages in a day is perfectly fine. Like, as I'm reading this, there have been a couple days when I've read 3 to 5 pages, and look how far along I am. I've read this much, and I only got this much left. Because I'm not sprinting. I'm pacing myself. And the other thing I'll say with this marathon mindset is take breaks, right? Your brain is like a muscle. I don't think it's literally muscle or literally has muscles, but it's like a muscle. You're exercising it, right? You are building a new skill. You're building a new strength. And that means you'll get tired. So take breaks. It's okay to take breaks, whether that's a few minutes, a couple of hours, or even a couple days. There've been plenty of times when I read really long, thick books where I took a break for like 2 to 3 days, and then picked it back up again, and I finished it in time. That's perfectly okay. So again, with pacing yourself, don't let these crazy, quick, avid readers like myself discourage you, because again, everyone goes at their own pace. Everyone runs a marathon differently. If you have ever run one, you probably know this. So just like everyone runs a marathon differently at their own pace, so everyone reads differently at their own pace. So it's okay to be slower than others, and it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to go at your own pace that you are comfortable with. And eventually, you'll get better. You won't see these as intimidating anymore. You'll be excited to embark on a new adventure. And that's the other thing. Think of it as an adventure. Adventures take time. Like if you like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, how long was their adventure? Super long, especially if you know the actual context of years from the books, like decades. It took them, at least, for Frodo, decades of his adventure. So if it takes you a month to read a long book, that's perfectly okay. All right, you accomplished something. So that's something that not a lot of people do. So that's my encouragement to you. I hope you found this helpful. So thanks for watching. Okay, bye.